Daddy loved this movie theater. He believed in this place. And in me.
Your father wanted you to be an actress.
This theater can work. I'll see to it personally. It's like Daddy always said. The show must go on.
On the movie! The movie! The movie!
Happy Spookies, everybody. I hope you're all doing well, having a most excellent day. And today, I just want to go ahead and briefly talk about a movie I recently saw on SHUDDER, which is an awesome streaming service. I highly recommend it. The Last Drive-In is on there. They have a lot of exclusives and originals. Definitely worth checking out. But this is a movie that came out in 2010, and it just flew under the radar. I mean, there's a lot of movies that flew under my radar, to be honest. But we're going to talk about All About Evil, and directed by Joshua Grinnell, or also known as Peaches Christ.
Peaches Christ! Underground drag performer, MC, filmmaker, actor, evil mastermind, auteur of drag.
The movie stars Jack Donner, Natasha Lyon, or Lyon, however you say that. We have Thomas Dekker, Cassandra Peterson, Mink Stoll, Noah Segan, and we also have Jade and Nikita Ramsey. There's also a lot of other people in this movie, but this is pretty much like the main people we're gonna stick with. And if you're not familiar, I won't do any heavy spoilers, but if I do, it's all about Deborah Tennis, who ends up inheriting a theater from her dad. It's going through a financial struggle. They're kind of having issues trying to keep it up, and one thing leads to another, and she ends up finding her inner filmmaker self, but she also finds the inner serial killer in her. I think I read that up on like IMDb or something like that, to be honest. And shortly after, business is a booming. Very, very fun movie. I mean, from the opening scene, you have our main actress, who is a young girl here, and her dad is like doing some type of Wizard of Oz, and she goes up there to do a little song, and she ends up peeing right there in front of everybody, and people are already laughing at her because of her name or something like that. It's kind of brutal. It's a little hard to watch. But this is just to show you how like silly and over the top of a movie you're about to get into. She still goes on because it's like embroidered in her by her dad, not in a negative way, but the show must always go on, and she's always like lived her motto by that. So she's continuing to sing, not giving a damn, but she pees on the wire of the microphone and grabs the microphone and just gets electrocuted right there, and her dad rushes over. She ends up being okay, but that kind of just lets you know like the tone of what you're about to watch. But the acting was really great. I really want to give a shout out to Cassandra Peterson here, aka Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Holy hell, I love seeing her out of character in this sort of like motherly role. It was really nice. She had a really cool connection with the son.
I think I'm in love with an older woman.
Well, how much older?
And he's like super into horror movies. There's like a whole B story with like this kid right here, Steven, played by Thomas Dekker. You know, he loves horror movies. He's been going to that theater forever.
Sorry I am about your father's passing. He was really awesome. I mean, without him, I wouldn't know half of my favorite horror movies that I know today.
Hell, the first night they're showing like Blood Feast. I thought that was really cool. But no, just to see her in this role, she's not a big fan of horror movies, and like by the end of the movie, she ends up, you know, being supportive and going to go see one. It was really neat. She plays a bigger role in this movie than I thought at the very beginning too. I was like, okay, that's cool. We'll probably have like a small little role in it, but no, she actually plays a bigger role, and I thought that was awesome. Also, at some point in this movie, Deborah ends up putting together a film crew because she starts making her own movies, and I really enjoyed the crew and like the montage we get. They're all like kind of like weird, demented people. We have like these two evil-looking twins. They were fucking, they didn't really have any dialogue, I think, at all. Like maybe like a few words, if that.
She's murdering her actors. She's murdering them for real.
But they were like one of the funnier parts of the movie, in my opinion. Just seeing them, they always reminded me, every time I saw them, it reminded me of The Shining. Another person in her crew was Noah Segan. He played Adrian. He was like this filthy, like almost homeless. I don't know if he was homeless, but he was like this filthy dude, freaking beating up old people on the street, taking like their fur coat and stuff. And then the last of her film crew is her projectionist also, who works at the theater, and her basically like second in command, Jack Donner.
Oh, Mr. Twigs, you scared me half to death.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Also, the kills were a lot of fun in this movie. It was cool seeing Natasha Lyonne kind of just like go from like this very mousy, shy, introverted person at the very beginning, and then later on she evolved into like this very more confident role. You could definitely see it. You could tell she had a lot of fun with this. Basically everybody that worked on this movie, you can tell, had a lot of fun on this movie. They also, like, the little movies that she's making are so funny. They're like little parodies of other movies, I believe. If not, the first one's like A Tale of Two Titties. Also, Mink Stoll's in this. I'm familiar with her. I just recently saw Serial Mom. Thought she was great in that, and she's great in this as well. Okay, I'm gonna get into a little bit of spoilers, just a little bit more detail to the plot. I really enjoyed the beginning and just seeing her transformation at the very beginning when she commits her first murder against her mom, who was actually belittling and forcing her to sign over the paper, some documents or something, to sell the theater because she wants to make us it's like the land is worth a small fortune. She doesn't want to sell it because, you know, her dad's always like, the show must go on, this is his dream. But of course the mom's like forcing her. She like grabs her hand and like puts it on like a hot plate or something like that, like the hot popcorn maker. It's hella messed up, but she just keeps freaking ridiculing her, and to the point where she just snaps. And Deborah, she's like has a pen in her hand and she just starts like stabbing her, and just like stabs her in the neck. It's crazy. It's also beautiful. She's like transforming. She's like going through this process. She's like rubbing the blood all over her face. She's like, oh, star quality. She's also even saying, kill her, mommy, kill her, which is freaking Friday the 13th. I don't know. I really had a great time with this movie. I really enjoyed that beginning, kind of setting up her character like that, and then seeing her evolve into like the more confident role. Like I said, the films she's making are so hilarious. But I don't know, she makes like 4 or 5 of them, and they all have to do with some sort of like, you know, don't use your cell phone while the movie is playing or something like that. Some sort of like, you know, PSA. But of course, by the end of the movie, she's pretty much lost it. She's like about to poison the entire audience, which is crazy. Also, the kid's mom is there, Cassandra Peterson's character, and then there's like but it all culminates in this freaking crazy rooftop ending where Deborah has Cassandra Peterson by the neck. You know, we have what's his name? Steven Thomas. I fucking forget his name. Yeah, Steven. And he's basically calling her out, and it like ends up making her snap. He like, you know, uses his brain power and his intelligence. He has that speech level all the way up to 100, you know. And he tells her just, you know, about her dad and how he would just be so disappointed in just like what she's become and what she's doing. And she just has like this crazy like mental breakdown. And then I believe, if I recall correctly, Cassandra Peterson, I think, ends up one like stabbing her or something like that. It's crazy. She ends up like getting stabbed and like thrown off the building. It's this like intense little moment. I don't know. It was a really neat movie. It was very surprising. I went in like completely blind. I saw people talking about this on Twitter, I believe. And after the movie was done, I was just completely in a good mood. It was just such a fun movie. That's like the best way I can describe it. Very fun. Also, the director makes an appearance. I thought that was very cool. There's this one girl in the movie that's just she's so cringe. I hate her.
I said, do you think she's pretty?
Yeah.
Ew, she's completely Uggs.
She is so freaking annoying. Her death is hilarious. She's in the shitter and she's right there, and she's like on her cell phone always, and you could just hear like a little fart and she kind of just giggles. But they end up like doing a little action and they like killed her right in the stall. It was hilarious. Also, really quick, I want to talk about the second kill, I believe, in the movie. It's the one where the tale of two titties. Basically, this girl, she's the one using her cell phone, and she's out of town, she's brand new, and she's very annoyed that this lady is using her cell phone. So she ends up drugging her, and she's passed out in the theater all by herself. This is where they take her, and they end up... The guillotine scene is so funny because she had told Mr. Twiggs, Deborah, like, you know, get a proper guillotine.
You idiot! Fool! I said a proper guillotine! I gave you the book! At this rate, she gets a much-needed nose job!
And she gets so mad, so they improvise. And they put one boob in, and they slice it off. And they put the other one, and they slice it off.
It was the best of times.
Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and shut up. I hope you all enjoyed this little dumb video. Just wanted to talk about this movie briefly. I have my baby back here. If you can't hear the little shushing machine, that's the baby. Shout out to whoever got me that. I forgot, but there's a little shushing machine that somebody got me. Oh, it just went off. Happy Swiggies.